like if you had like a specific topic, specific discussion you would want to, have and stream. But the casual, like, I mean, that it's your channel. I'm just saying.
I I always try I always try to have casual discussions. I don't like in 1 second I can hear myself because I'm streaming to my ears. Okay. So I always try to have casual discussions, even when it's a debate. I try to have it casual. I don't want it to be emotional. I don't want it to be intense. I don't like it. I don't like it when I start getting upset or the other side gets upset. So
Wait a second. Wait a second. Wait a second. Emotional is not opposite of casual at all. Like,
I try to make it.
you see what I mean? You said I like. You see what I mean? You said I like casual conversations. I don't like emotional conversation. Like,
I don't want to
makes no sense
become.
because emotional is not.
Well, I'm for me casual and relaxed and unemotional. For me, it's very similar. So I try to have my debates unemotional, cold, factual, relaxed, fun. Um, so so even if it's a debate and
What's the channel about?
excuse me,
Channel about?
my channel.
What's the channel about?
It's about anything. I try to debate. It's mostly debates or debate reviews. But I debate.
Oh,
Philosophy, politics, religion, God, mathematics, physics, astronomy,
who's this
UFOs.
woman? Who's this woman? Who's this woman?
No,
You have in your picture. Who's this?
it's
Who's this
just
woman?
it's just it's no one. It's a painting. It's a portrait. Okay, Abu Hassan is
Wow.
asking us to concentrate on the West collapsing. So,
Well, obviously, you don't think that the West is collapsing. That is a popular view among certain group of experts, analysts. They do say that the West is collapsing, but you obviously don't think that. So
no, no, I'm not.
I don't think the West is collapsing.
I'm not. When you said the West is collapsing, don't I think the West is collapsing? I said, okay, like, why do you think it's collapsing? We could discuss it. I'm not. I'm open. I mean, if you want to discuss evidence that the West is collapsing, we can discuss it, and maybe we'll conclude the West is collapsing. The fact that everyone says it.
The original,
Mhm. What?
but the original point was that you were praising the Western system of government, democracy, freedom, and whatnot. And you're saying, "Well, you see how good West is doing," but it's not it's not quite so because it seems like the West is going down, especially Europe, right? So
I mean, what
that's the thing.
I so you could look at GDP per capita, like basically the quality of life, or you could also look at where are people moving to. So right now, I think most of the people on the planet in general are trying to move to the United States. Also, they're trying to move to Europe. In general, they're not moving to China. They're moving from China to Europe to the.
Well, because they don't know. Because they don't know what's going on. They are moving, yeah, because again, that is so far it is only an expert opinion. Like they look at certain parameters, that or certain dynamics, and they say the West is collapsing. The average person does not. In fact, Germany have weakened certain restrictions, and like 1 second, sorry.
Hmm. No, but I just heard that Chinese millionaires are moving to the United States. They know China very well, and they choose to leave China with all their money and move to the United States. Wait, he turned. Oh, he's not hearing me. Okay. What's going on, Abu Hassan? You can talk.
See, interesting conversation, brother. Yeah, but by the way, just so brother have like information, brother Islam way is kinda he's not a communist necessarily, but he's more of a pro China than pro West. So that's why he's like, yeah.
Yeah, I can feel it. I mean, as soon as a person starts
Oh,
asking questions, I can tell who he is against and who he supports. So I could tell that he likes China. I like China too, but I like every country. Every country has a good thing, but most countries the balance is bad relative to the United States. So the best country currently.
Well, let me tell you. According to visitors, the American visitors, China. I mean, U.S. is a village compared to China. It's not a big exaggeration.
That's fine. I'm not.
A lot of people immigrating to China. People are learning Chinese.
Yeah.
People immigrating to Russia. So let me just. One second.
Yeah, but in general, if you look at the balance of who is moving to where, so it's from the east to the west. It's from India, it's from China, it's from Russia, it's from the east to the west. I just saw a video the other day. Let me get it to you. What's his name? Patrick, I think. Patrick. Yeah, Patrick Boyle. And just this week, I think his latest video, there it is. So here's the video. The millionaire exodus. Where are millionaires running away from and where are they running to? So that's one way. That's one way to try and figure out, is the West collapsing? If all the millionaires are running from the East to the West, so is the West collapsing? That's an indication that the West is not collapsing. But Abu Hassan, you were asking.
What did you say was indication? What
I'm
you say was
saying, if
indication?
you watch, what did I say about what?
You said something was indication that the West is not collapsing. What,
I mean,
what
this
was that?
video, Pat,
What's
I linked a video in the chat from Patrick Boyle. He discusses the statistics of millionaire exodus. Where are the millionaires moving from and to? So you can watch this video. I watched a little bit. I watched maybe half of it. So from what I understood, millionaires are moving from China to the United States, from the east to the west. So if we ask, is the West collapsing? I mean, I wouldn't say millionaires would move to some place that is collapsing. A millionaire is somebody who is moving to to a promised land, to somewhere that is the opposite of collapsing.
Well, you're saying that, but we'll have to see. Okay, can you give names?
Of what?
Can you give any references? Like you're saying that,
What?
but
Saying what?
I mean, so that it would not be so that it would not be an empty point. You would want to provide references, names, like you're saying this. The rich people, the millionaires, are moving from China, and so, but
That's what he says. I
I mean,
think that you can watch.
That's what
he says. I think that you
yeah,
can
but
watch.
we don't even know if he says that or not. We don't know even if he says that or not. You're saying
Fine.
that he says that,
Fine.
but even if he does,
Mhm.
what are the names? What are the references to staff
Watch.
or anything?
I didn't look into it. You can watch his video, and we can any source that I would show you, we could go down the rabbit hole of analyzing the source. But in general, at this point that we're just having a casual discussion, so that's what he brings up. I didn't know this before I watched it. I wouldn't know that millionaires are moving from China to the US or Europe or whatever. So that's what he said, and yeah, we could look into it, but that's just one indicator. It's one indicator. Is the West collapsing? But there's many other indicators we could look at.
Yeah, we don't have it. I mean, we don't have it. Like you're just saying, you're just making claims. You're just making claims. You're not showing it.
Okay, so I mean, I'm saying that's just one indicator. But there's
But
other.
It's not an indicator. It's not an indicator because we don't have it.
Okay, so
We don't have the.
let me ask you.
Any
Let me ask. Fine. Let me ask you. Do you feel that the West is collapsing?
Oh yeah, absolutely, 100%. Like for example, due to unprecedented measures, like for example, the sanctions, for example, the United States said like, if any student are going to work in China, right, we're gonna take his citizenship away, threatening, stuff like this. What else?
Wait.
I mean, the Chinese just makes better products. So they cannot compete with China, and that is sign of collapse. Like that's I'm not saying I'm not like I'm just telling you from what it appears to me that the West is collapsing.
Yeah, I agree with you that China is my intuition is China is still a little bit on the rise in terms of its economy, and it might continue. I don't know how long. I don't know because it's all in the hands of one Mr. Xi Jinping. So if he decides tomorrow morning to shut down the economy, it's shut down, and it's up to him. So it's very precarious, and I think that's the reason why like I would not move to China. I wouldn't invest in China, and that's why maybe you're not moving to China. You're not even trying to move to China.
I want no. I would want to move to China, and
Why not?
it doesn't matter what we would want, right? You're not an expert. You're not an expert. Doesn't matter what you feel, what you want.
What do you
You're
mean?
not showing.
What do you mean?
You don't have.
What do you
like,
mean?
You don't have like expert
What do you mean?
recognition here, so you can't just give your opinion. Whatever you're gonna claim, you're supposed to back it with and explain yourself, right? Because you're not like an expert. You can't just give an opinion. You know what I mean?
No, I don't know what you mean when you say expert. Well, like an expert is actually a logical fallacy. It's called appeal to authority. Like anyone who claims to be an expert, or like if you say this guy's an expert, I don't care that you think he's an expert, that he thinks he's an expert, that everyone.
Well, that's so long that the authority is respected. There is nothing wrong in appealing to authority or to an expertise, to an expert. Like there's nothing wrong as long as if there was an expert that is recognized, that was recognized as such by both of us, then we would have common ground and we would appeal to that expert.
Anyway, look,
We could say,
the
well,
fact
he says that.
the fact is me and you have all the evidence that we could ever want to have. And we have not moved to China. We don't plan to move to China. If I would ask you, where would you rather move to, the US or China? My intuition is we would both choose the US. That's my intuition.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
No,
Absolutely
you
not.
would move to
I would
China?
not choose US. Like I said, why would I want to move to a country that is collapsing, that is dangerous, and you never know what's coming the next day? Like, why would I want to? Back in before, I would not move. I wouldn't want to move to US because from the moral grounds. But today, not even because of that, but simply for economical, for safety reasons. You know, it's just it's not a place anyone would want to go. Any person, at least if you did have my view, you wouldn't want to move. You have a different view, so you want to move there.
No, no.
I would go to China. I would absolutely go to China.
You would go to you prefer China?
Oh yeah, I love China. Actually.
I love China too. But the question is, okay, let me ask you this. So you feel the West is collapsing. So you think it's collapsing because China's economy is growing faster? That's why you feel the West that's why you feel the West is collapsing?
But like I said, it is basically, like you said, you can't refer to, but basically it is an opinion that I'm hearing from my sources that the West is collapsing. I can't tell you. I can't. I would have to think, like, to prepare a case to make how the West is collapsing.
So you don't
Why?
have an opinion?
But yeah, no, no. I don't really have like my own opinion. It's not like my own opinion. It's more like my own impression.
Yeah.
My impression from what I hear people say. It's not like I have an educated opinion. Even though I'm sure if I like took time, I'd be able to make a good case to
You
show how the West is collapsing.
I never looked into this, so I cannot make a good case either way, but we can, as you said, like you have an impression, I have an impression. I think most people just have impressions. So I mean, we can discuss. I mean, you brought up this point that, and I agree. I mean, the Chinese economy seems to be growing faster in general than the U.S. economy. If this trend continues, then China will become a huge empire, and the West will shrink, because we know the power of exponential growth. Economic growth, usually it's an exponential growth. So China, if this continues, China will become an empire and the West will shrivel and become a village next to China. And yeah, in reference to certain metrics, you can see that already. So I don't disagree with that. But the problem with China is that it's not a democracy. It's basically a dictatorship. So
Good. That's one of the reasons I would want to move to China. That's one. That is a major reason. I would never want to go to a democracy, to a democratic country. No, I would never prefer that. I would every time, just because just like I don't know what can outweigh that some country is a authoritarian country. That is such a plus. I don't know what can possibly outweigh this. You know.
Look,
So it's a positive thing.
Look. So the fact that the U.S. is a democracy, part of a democracy is the freedom of speech, the relative freedom of speech. So in China, you could be a billionaire and you can speak against the government, and they would take all your money away. We saw this happening to Ma, the owner of Alibaba. They took everything away from him overnight, and they jailed him.
Well, you have to prove that. You have to. you have to prove that.
Wait, you think you can speak against the government in China?
No, I don't think Jack Ma was taking all or any of his funds away by the government.
So what do you think happened to him? That he just disappeared right after he spoke against the government?
Yeah, well, I know you have to show that. I don't know about that, but I know that the West constantly lies about China.
No,
So
we know this. What do
they
you
lie
mean?
a lot. They make stories.
What we know, we know.
You know this from where?
What do you mean? He was speaking one day, and the next day he was gone for months. He just disappeared. Which is, that is the issue with dictatorships. It's fine when you don't, when they don't see you as a problem. If you speak the wrong way, you get disappeared. It's an issue. I understand that China is great with respect to certain things. Chinese women are beautiful, so that's one reason to go there. And there's
Wait,
skyscrapers.
why is it an issue?
That to get disappeared? What do you mean?
What is a billionaire? I mean,
Not
most people aren't billionaires. They'll be happy for all the billionaires to disappear.
no, but so wait, you think you have freedom of expression? You can talk against the government in China? You think you're free to talk in China against the government?
I mean, do you think you can do that in America, like
Yeah,
against the state?
yeah, I can say right now.
Are you forgetting like McCarthyism, where communists were rounded up because they were seen as a threat to the American state in the 50s and 60s?
Right. In America, you can't even talk about a foreign country. You can't talk bad about Israel. You can't talk bad about Ukraine. You can't you can't talk good about Russia.
Freedom is overrated too.
Even
I mean, people want food on the table.
no,
They want food.
there's quite little freedom in US. But even if it was so free, right? I don't think it's a good thing that anyone. I don't think it's a good thing to allow people to publicly speak against government. That's not a positive thing at all. That should be stopped. Right? If it is stopped like it is in China, it's a good thing. So you want to be in China. Regarding Jack Ma, you said he disappeared. His company or his funds were taken from him. That is, I don't think that's true. And just because he, I don't know, like what was that story about? He disappeared for some time. Now he's back. He's talking. He's ruling. He's like ruling his companies. So I don't know what's that all about. But the West lies constantly about China. Constantly.
Wait, so one second. So you're against freedom of speech when it comes to the government? You said it
Oh yeah, absolutely. Freedom of speech, of course. When you have freedom of speech, you should go away from that country to a country where there is no freedom of speech against government. Because that country where there's no freedom of speech, that is going to be better, more safer,
It's overrated. That's what I'm saying. What's the point of freedom of speech if
and
we
it's
don't
not
have freedom of
it's not like you can't it's not like you can't predict. It's not like oh I'm so like I'm so afraid there's no freedom of speech. No, it's you are in control. You are controlling your words. Just don't go ahead and speak against government publicly, and then you'll be fine.
Why? But what if I feel that?
What do you mean? Why?
Why? What's the problem with speaking my
Go ahead.
opinion? What's the problem?
Because you're gonna create unrest. We're not talking about just opinion. We're talking about protests. We're talking about like speaking against government in a manner, like criticizing it and speaking against it, which would turn public against the government. and that would create very unstable, not very favorable environment. You know.
What do you mean? I mean, but what if I truly feel that, the government can do better and I want the government to do better? So you don't want me?
Yeah, but government. Listen, government is doing its best. Is doing its best. Who are you? Who are you to impose your opinion on government? After all, it is for the government to make a choice. Everyone has an opinion, but it's for the government to make a choice which way to go, and it's going to make a choice that it's thinks is the best, and all the people are supposed to support the government, regardless whether it fails or it goes good. The people should support the government, and the government is working for the people.
Okay.
A government can make mistakes, but it's not up to you to sit there and impose and be like, oh, like you're supposed to go my way, you're supposed to go, and if you don't, I'm gonna be protesting, I'm gonna be crying, and I'm gonna be telling people the government is bad. That's not the right way.
Okay.
That's
Let
supposed
let's
that
say
should be suppressed.
okay. So, but let's say the governor, the king, the dictator is me, and you know that I'm an idiot and I'm making mistakes and I could do much better. Shouldn't you be allowed to tell people that you think that I made mistakes and here is how to do better? At least speak. Shouldn't you be allowed to speak and criticize me?
No, you should not be allowed.
What?
No, you should not be allowed.
I can't
Not at
hear
all.
you.
He's saying you shouldn't be
I'm
allowed
saying
to.
no, you should not be allowed.
I should not
Yeah, he's
be
saying you
allowed.
shouldn't.
No, I'm talking about you. If I'm the dictator and you see me making mistakes and just making mistakes, shouldn't you be able to
Right.
tell the government, hey, you made a mistake here, why don't you fix it? You shouldn't be allowed
They're
to
not
say
gonna
it.
listen, man. Honestly, in democracies they don't listen. Just look at America.
If you're gonna make a mistake, if you're gonna make a mistake, in my opinion, that's just my opinion, that you're making a mistake. The government obviously thinks that they don't make a mistake, and they have a bunch of experts. Like a bunch of experts, they have a councils. They sitting there deciding, and here I am with my opinion. I think you're making a mistake. And even if it is a mistake, right? Still, I'm gonna let them to make a mistake, and I'm gonna support them, right? And they should make a mistake. The people should support them, and at every way, they will make a mistake, and then they will do something. It's life. Life is all about mistakes. It's fine. It's more important to be united rather than like a democracy where any clown can come to power. You know. Like
Joe
I don't
Biden,
know how is that even comparable. I don't
sleepy
even know
Joe
how
Biden.
that's even comparable. Like it's really incredible. I was like this at some point. I was all pro democracy, but now that I'm not, and I'm looking at it from a different angle, I'm like, wow, it's just incredible. So many people are just like democracy,
I think this is a
but
good
it's
point,
just democracy
Islam.
is so stupid, and we're seeing the West is collapsing because of democracy, and the West is it's not even. I'm not like I don't think like well anyway.
I think this is
That's fine.
actually a good example. You know why? Because let's say in China, right?
Wait,
Someone like
can
Joe
I?
Biden would never be appointed.
Kumail,
Never. But
Kamul,
only in like America. Actually, like America will be appointed.
Kamul, let me just
Huh?
reply. Let me just reply. So, is Islam way? I used to be pro dictatorship, and I am today more pro democracy. So I understand how you feel. I know that a dictatorship has advantages and democracy has disadvantages. There's, like, as everybody says, there's no perfect system. Every system has its pros and cons. So the problem, the problem with a dictatorship, especially a ruthless, oppressive dictatorship, like I wouldn't say China is so oppressive, but let's say North Korea. So you could see the dictator, the government making mistakes and causing the collapse, mistakes, honest mistakes, and causing the collapse, the long-term collapse of the country. And you could see, well, you're making this mistake and that mistake, and the country's collapsing, like China was before it became capitalistic. China was the poorest country in the world, and so was the entire Soviet Union. They were both mismanaged by dictators, and no one could speak against the dictators. So for years, all the population, the entire population of all these communist dictatorships, the populations were starving, as they are right now in North Korea. The populations were starving, and you couldn't speak against the government, whether the government was making mistakes or whether they were starving the people by intentionally. You couldn't speak against it, not even if
Bro,
it was.
this argument, look, but you can make the same case with America.
Yes,
You have 500,000 homeless people and you have
Yes.
democracy.
yes,
So
yes.
how do you explain that?
Yeah,
Because
I'm not saying it's perfect. I'm just, look.
Let me say.
no,
let
but
me
it's
say
not
another
about
thing.
perfect.
The
One sec,
democracy
it's
is
not
so-
wait, it's not one sec. Look, it's not about perfect. It's about your claim that look, if you have free speech, right, you can basically dictate to the politicians or at least influence them. Clearly, free speech in this case isn't helping the people of America, where there is 500,000 homeless. Even we can look at other metrics too, like inequality, right? You have slave levels of inequality in America, where few people hold all the wealth. Again, what does free speech in this context do? It doesn't give me any power. It doesn't give me any political, economic, well, political power if you assume free speech is quote unquote political power, but there's no real material power. I have no capital.
So
This is
I
why I just
understand.
don't buy, this.
I understand.
I don't know.
I understand. I understand how you feel, and the homeless people. I certainly understand how they feel. So yeah, so I believe that in the long run, a democracy is it's a self-correcting system, because everyone can speak and everyone can hear everyone speak. So in the long run, logic will prevail, and science will prevail, and the country.
Oh my God. Come on, man. Look at
No,
America. The American people are retarded.
democracy
I mean, they're
is,
retarded. Look, it's Trump and Biden.
democracy,
Go ahead, sorry.
Yeah. So
democracy is not a self-correcting.
look here. I'll give you a math. I think we can prove it mathematically that democracy is better in the long run. So mathematically, in order to make it a mathematical discussion, we need to make an assumption. It's called the rationality assumption. The rationality assumption is the assumption that everyone is rational. So
I reject that assumption.
Yeah. If you reject that assumption, then you right, you could say that I'm retarded and I'm an idiot and I'm not rational, so there's no point in talking to me. And I could say that about you, and you could say it about yourself.
It's not about that. No. You're saying
then-
humans are rational in terms of like purely instrumentally rational, right?
If
Emotions don't factor into their judgments.
No,
This is
that's
nonsense.
not rationality. No, we can define mathematically the rationality assumption. That there is, it's an entire field in mathematics that I happen to have studied. So, if you don't assume rationality, that's the end of any analysis. Because if you assume everyone is irrational, then anything goes.
Wait, what is the definition of rationality?
So rationality is defined by sub-definition. So, for example, a rational actor prefers goods over bads. So, if you define pizza as a good and work as bad, if you define, then a person or let's say leisure. So, if you define leisure as good and work as bad, then a rational actor prefers leisure over work, for example. That's one of the sub-definitions of rationality.
Aren't we assuming actors know what is good and bad?
Yeah, we're assuming that part of rationality is you prefer. That's the definition. You prefer good over bad. That's just so you might like a rational actor could say, no, for me, work is good and leisure is bad. You could say that, but
Correct. Or or the other issues too. Why? I mean,
yeah, but
in terms of these categories, like, what is the basis of them objectively? There's no like.
it's
It's fundamentally irrational.
no. I mean, it's based on real life. Like we're all products of evolution, of Darwinism, of survival, of the war of survival. Like for billions of years, we've been trying to survive. So we are, nature's perfect survival machines. So
No, but bro, you look, you're saying emotion, like
Mm.
using emotions is
No.
also technically irrational in this definition.
no.
No, you are.
Emotion,
You just
no. Emotion is part of rationality. So if you like leisure,
that's what I'm saying.
no, if you like leisure, that's an emo. If you like food, let's say,
Wait, what are you saying no to?
what
I
am
literally
saying?
said emotions are a part of rationality. You
Yeah.
said no, and then you said
Oh yeah,
emotion.
emotion. Sure, I'm sorry. I thought you said emotions.
Okay, I was
Yeah.
confused there.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Okay, but this is what I mean. Like, emotions are obviously going to dictate what is quote unquote, well, in part, they're going to dictate what is good or bad to the individual,
Of
right?
course.
Based on their subjective preference.
I mean everything, but
But then it's an issue. Okay, but no. But look. Let's imagine I decide. I don't know, sniffing. I don't know, sniffing crack cocaine is quote unquote good, or drinking alcohol is good, and that is guided by not by scientific reason, scientific research. My instrumental reason is, guided by emotions, right? But obviously, objectively, it is not good for me. It is harming my body, right?
that's not.
But based on my subjective preference,
That's you. So you can define good and bad for yourself. You could say,
well, then that's a redundant definition. I think that's a redundant.
what do you mean?
I think there's objective goods and bads.
That's you. But because you said you think, then that's defined as subjective. So you can think that for me to take cocaine is bad for you, and I would probably agree. If I take cocaine, that's not good for you. But I could decide that taking cocaine is good for me. So you could decide taking cocaine is bad for you. It's up to the individual. But again, I think most people, and then look, these are, you want to have a mathematical discussion. So in order to have a mathematical discussion, you want to simplify the universe. You want to make a mathematical model. And
Right, but the issue is the realism of the assumptions. Like you're saying, it's okay to have unrealistic assumptions, essentially.
right, but initially we want to have a simple model and then see the predictions the simple model makes, compare it to the real world, and then we can do a second iteration and maybe fix the assumptions, or add more assumptions, and so on and so on. So
Well, I don't accept the assumption. This is the problem. I don't accept the assumption. We're not agreeing on the assumption. So there's no point
look,
building
you don't-
analysis on the assumptions if we don't
you-
have a common
look,
ground.
in order to have a mathematical, you don't have to accept the assumption in order to have a mathematical discussion. The mathematical discussion says if we assume rationality. I'm not asking you to assume rationality. I'm saying it's a mathematical claim. If we assume rationality, then certain conclusions follow from that, and we can have a discussion. What conclusions follow from if we assumed rationality? I'm not saying anything. I'm not saying I'm not forcing you to assume rationality. Now, scientifically, if you assume an assumption, and based on the assumption, you make a hypothesis, and based on the hypothesis, you make a prediction, and then you look at the real world and your prediction comes true, then you say, oh, my assumption has been validated. I'm not saying it's true. I'm not saying it's correct. I'm just saying, oh, it has been scientifically validated. Tomorrow morning, it might become invalid. But for now, this is now a
Well, if
scientific.
it's true, I mean, if it's valid, it would be true. Like I don't see the
Well,
distinction there. But
scientifically, no, because it could be correlated. It could be coincidentally true. So you made a prediction and it came true, but it's coincidence. Like you made a prediction
what
that
do you mean by coincidence?
you made. Let's say you assumed rationality and you said, "Oh, based on that, a person should prefer pizza over poop." And based on this prediction, we checked and we made a prediction people will prefer pizza over poop. And we checked and looked and we saw, yeah, people prefer pizza over poop. So it might be that the prediction is correct, or it might be just a coincidence that actually somebody told the people to prefer pizza over poop, but really these people actually prefer poop over pizza. But because they were told, they were paid money. Let's say, for example, they were paid money to prefer pizza over poop. But really, in general, they actually eat poop all the time. These are poop.
Yeah, but most studies would account for these things.
Look, I'm just telling you, yeah, but if you just make one prediction, then it's good. But the more predictions and the more times you validate a theory, then it becomes a stronger and stronger theory. So
Okay, no problem.
so the theory of the rationality assumption is actually the foundation of the entire science of economics. And the entire science of economics makes many predictions about the scientific phenomenon known as the economy. And the scientific and the science of economics has been validated. It has been perfected and modified and right now it's a very accurate science. So the theory
Are you sure about that?
we can
Have you studied economics?
yeah we can discuss it, but
Are you familiar with like neoclassical economics?
yeah, of course, I'm an expert in neoclassical economics, but we could go back to that. But before that, so the assumption, it's called the fundamental assumption of economics, has been validated because the theory that is based on rationality assumption has been validated by countless of predictions and experiments that have been validated. So at this point, we could assume.
No, it has not, bro.
Anyway,
Pure instrumental rationality. By the way, you've not well.
Mhm.
First and foremost, you've not defined it correctly. You said emotions, right? If you're talking about neoclassical economics, there is bounded rationality, yes. But if we're talking about like unbounded rationality, no, emotions would not factor into account. Even emotions, actually, sorry, it's essentially like a on and off switch.
What do you mean?
So you can turn it on at will and you can turn it off at will.
My emotions?
So yes.
I think you're confusing. Well, this is what you're mixing up together. You're confusing rationality and intelligence, right? Because let's say like a person is going and then if he goes to left, he's gonna fall into some hole and he's gonna die. But if he goes to the right, to the right, then he's gonna be fine, right? So which one he's gonna pick? He's gonna pick to go to the one that is safe, and that is rationality. That's rationality. You see how simple it is, but and it is something that's rational, but it's not like advanced rationality. It's not like intelligence, right? And that's why you're trying to equivocate here, right? You're like, oh, every person is rational, and you're saying it as if it meant the same as every person is very intelligent. Oh, here we can make simple rational choices, but when it comes to more like choices that require some work, some like for example, even like oh, you want something? There's money on the floor. Someone dropped money on the floor. How many people do you think will pick money and put it in their pocket? You know, so rationality is not the same as intelligence. People are driven by emotions.
Correct.
Yeah, emotions are part of the rationality assumption. The rationality assumption just says you prefer what you consider goods over what you consider bads. So if you want food rather than poop, That's it. That's part of being a rational actor. You prefer whatever you consider good over what you consider bad. You prefer to live over dying.
Okay, then a dog is a rational actor. A dog is a
No.
rational actor.
An
though.
amoeba.
the issue is you're ignoring like value. Look,
One
you're ignoring
second,
the distinction between
Kamul.
instrumental and value rationality.
Kamul, you're 2-on-1, so every time you speak, I need to be able to respond. Otherwise, it's like, what's the point of talking? So, I'll be quick. So he said,
Okay, so you don't want me to discuss? Fine, I'll leave.
no. Just if it's 2-on-1, you share the same opinion. So he asked me something: is a dog rational? Let me just respond quickly. Then you can go. I'd like you to stay. I enjoy your input. So Islam way, yeah, a dog under in rationality theory, every creature is rational. Even an amoeba is rational.
Yeah, people take loans. People take loans, and that's like pretty stupid. Like people take loans.
That's
not rational, is it?
what do you mean? I take loans. When you go to the restaurant and use a credit card, that's a loan. And you eat before you pay, that's a loan. That's you're eating on credit. Even if without a credit card, even if you pay cash at the end of dinner, while you were eating, you were accruing a debt, and that's fine. That's life.
Yeah. No. Okay. Like why you understand my point? Like
No.
that's not the same.
No,
with
what do you mean?
examples, no. Like
What do you mean?
people are taking
There's nothing- what do you mean?
long-term. Wait. People are taking long-term loans under interest rate, right? That is incredibly stupid and irrational. Yet people do it.
No, I've done it. I do it all the time. What do you mean? Of course, I do it all the time. It's completely rational. It's very convenient. It's
There
completely
you go.
rational. It's very
That's the
convenient.
problem.
What?
Not very rational, are you?
What?
That's not very rational.
To me, it makes sense. If I
That's
have
not
to
rational.
look, if I, for example, I mean, like if I buy a car, and the car, I can get a loan for the car at 6% interest, but I know I make 10% interest with my money in the stock market on average, then of course I'm getting 4% for free. Of course I will take a loan. It's very rare.
Well, that's oh my god, that's the example you gave. The example you gave is stock market is a very unstable income, and you're gonna rely on it. You're gonna take a long-term loan, and you're gonna rely on something that as stable as stock market. You realize how irrational the example you gave this example. You realize you don't even understand how irrational it is. That's why so many people lose spouses.
Okay.
People are in the streets because they took loans. People are in the streets. They lost everything. They go take a loan for to go to some university, and then all their life they're gonna be working to pay that loan back. That's incredibly stupid. Yet people do it all the time.
Okay, look, slow down. Islam way.
That's
Slow
just
down.
dumb.
Islam way. Look, okay, so the definition of rational, I defined it, and I tried to show you that even your extreme examples are wrong. But that's fine. We have a definition for rationality. It's not up to you to decide for me what is good and bad. You're not, you don't decide for me. I decide for me what for me is the best. I prefer to have. It's my preference. So that's just the definition of rationality. It's not you. You're not the decider of what is rational. The definition of rationality is that every actor, they prefer whatever they consider good over whatever they consider bad. That's all. And also,
But that's just instrumental rationality again.
what do you mean?
What you're doing is you're saying value rationality doesn't matter. The goal, in terms of rationalizing the actual goal, that doesn't matter.
I don't understand.
So you're actually making the question in that regards.
But
that's fine. Even if you focus on instrumental rationality,
I don't understand what you're saying. I have no idea what is. What do you
if
mean?
you're claiming to be an expert on neoclassical economics, it's kind of weird.
Forget about what I said. I don't understand what you said. What are you saying? Forget about
it's
me.
in behavioral economics.
Fine. Well, okay, I don't know.
If-
I
look,
don't. I
Well,
didn't
you
look-
have to say, well, okay, why did you like that?
what? Why did I lie?
So you're not an expert on neoclassical economics.
Okay, look, when you say neoclassical, I mean the mathematics of economics. I didn't look too much into behavioral economics. So, if you would have asked me,
You're talking about behavioral economics.
no, when we're talking about economics,
we are currently we're talking about behavioral economics here.
no.
We're talking about rationality, irrationality. Look, I'll okay, fine. No, but I'll just define it for you, right? Instrumental rationality, right,
do you
is
mean
basically saying
What do you mean define it for me? That's not how definitions work. You don't define for. We need to agree on
oh,
definitions.
look, are you just gonna be like pedantic and like semantic?
No, we need to agree. We're here to talk. We need to agree on the
Well,
definition.
when I say define it for you, I mean how it's defined in economics. You don't have to agree with a definition.
Of course, I have to agree with a definition for this discussion. If you think a dog is a cat,
Well,
then
can I
think-
state the definition and then you can choose to agree or disagree?
No, you said you're going to define it for me. So of course, I mean, we can define it together.
Oh my god, this is like some super duper like pedantic like.
No, you said you're going to
you're hung up on
define.
words.
No, when he says,
You said you're gonna define it-
Polite expression,
You said
know?
you're going to
Like, for
define.
example,
You
yeah,
said
you-
no.
you-
He said he's going to define it
yeah,
for me. That's a misunderstanding of what a definition
Yeah,
is.
that's just a polite expression. No,
What?
that's just a polite expression. Like, I will define it for you.
Oh,
It
Yeah,
just
my
means
yeah,
I
exactly.
will
My
help
definition. I
you.
don't understand what.
It
Okay,
means-
well, I reject your definition. I
it means
don't.
I will help you. It means I will help you. I just want to help you to find the definition. It doesn't mean I'm going to enforce a definition
You know what?
on you.
No, you
Like,
cannot
you don't
help.
have to
You cannot help me if I
Okay,
didn't
look.
ask
Let's
for
just
help.
skip. Let's just skip. Fine. Look, you know what? Forget this. Forget my definition, right? The economic. Fine. Let's just go with your definition. Emotions are included. No problem, right? We're ignoring the value, the end goal, right? Being rational, right? Fine. Well, I guess based on your definition, it'll be rational. Fine. No problem. Now, what is your point past this? I understand your point about hypothesis testing, blah blah blah. Let's skip all this, right? What is the underlying point here?
So I was
You're
going
saying
to
humans
make.
are rational because, again, based on your definition, okay, we agree. But if your definition includes emotions, correct? So it's like, yeah, we're not disagreeing.
Anyway, I just wanted to show mathematically that democracy in the long run will give better results than a dictatorship. So
Okay, where's your evidence?
tell,
No.
tell that to Ukraine. Tell that to
No,
Ukraine.
there's no.
Thanks
no.
to democracy.
I said
thanks to
mathematically.
democracy,
No,
they
no,
were able.
no. I
No,
said
thanks to
mathematically.
democracy, they were able to put a puppet.
Said no. Said
That's I mean that's the danger. That's one of the dangers of democracy.
look. I agree with everything you're saying, but listen to what I'm saying. I said we can mathematically prove. I said in the long run. In the short run, you can have fluctuations, but in the long run, and especially in the very long run, we can prove mathematically that a democracy performs better, will give you the highest quality of life compared to any other, or at least compared to non-democracy. The more democratic a system is, the better it will perform in terms of average quality of life.
Yeah, well, you're just dreaming at this point.
Yeah, but what's based on what
You're dreaming
metrics?
at
This is
this
the
point.
issue. But look, based on what metrics?
you're
Because
dreaming.
based on your logic. No, one sec. Based on your logic, there's no objective standard here. It's just based on our subjective preferences. So what if me and Islam Way disagree with the metrics you utilize?
So I said, if we, I mean, so performance.
If you're going to use GDP, we don't agree. GDP per capita, we don't agree. This is
so okay,
metrics.
then,
We don't agree
then
with these
how
metrics.
then how do you measure the performance of a system of government?
I don't know. I don't need to give you an explanation. I'm just saying I disagree with your criteria.
By steel production,
Hold on.
GDP, PPP, some people
Wait,
say that. I'm not sure about that.
one at a time. So Kamul, you said you don't need to. So that's called you refusing to answer the question. You cannot not.
No, it's not.
Yes. You cannot.
No, okay, because me not answering. One sec. Me not answering doesn't validate your view, bro.
No,
I'm
you
just saying
answering-
I reject your criteria.
you can't. Wait, what do you mean? I'm asking you.
Why
a
can't
question.
I?
I'm asking. I don't care, but I'm asking you a question. You have to answer the question. How do you measure the success of a political system? By what metric? Explain. Give me.
I don't. Okay, I don't do so. I don't do so by GDP.
You have to tell me how you do, not how you don't. How do you measure the success of a
I
political
do so.
system.
Look, I do so through the level of loneliness, through the level of depression, through the level the suicide rates, the life satisfaction, inequality levels,
Give me look.
which Western countries all score very, very poorly on.
Look.
Suicide rates are rising, depression rates are rising, loneliness rates are rising, inequality again is super duper high. All in terms of income and wealth inequality.
Okay.
So this is how I'm measuring. I'm not measuring it by GDP.
So just
GDP is just
Same,
total.
fine,
Look,
fine.
GDP is just
It's fine. It's fine. So
okay.
I'm familiar with these metrics. I think they're called human something HMI or something. Human. I mean, they have a name. These metrics. That's
Well,
fine. We could
Call it what you want. It doesn't matter. You can call it what you want.
right.
You're talking about the Human Development Index, but I'm not specifically even referring to that. I'm just saying these metrics.
Right. So yeah, I think we can prove mathematically that the more a democratic system is, the better it will perform under your metric as well.
No, I mean they perform very, very badly.
No, but we can prove it mathematically that it will perform better. The more a democracy, the better it will perform. Even under your metric. So
Okay, where's the evidence?
Right. The proof, it's a mathematical proof. It's not evidence. So the mathematical proof is a democracy allows, right? The more of a democracy you have, the more of a self-correcting system it becomes. Right? It's more transparent. People are allowed to express themselves. Other people can hear. And assuming, of course, we're assuming rationality. That was the whole point of the discussion about rationality. So as long as we assume rationality and the preferences of people is for their own good instead of their own bad. So yeah, in the short term, you're going to have fluctuations and you're going to have, it's going to be, you're going to have it's going to maybe not be perfect, but in the long run, the system will correct. The system will self-correct. Whereas
these are just assumptions. I don't know what would say to a mathematical proof, bro.
Wait, what's an assumption? I mean, where's the assumption?
People are rational.
Well, yeah.
Democracies are more transparent. Okay.
No,
yeah, exactly. You're just making a series of assumptions and you're saying based on these assumptions,
that's
X will happen.
Yeah, that's a mathematical discussion. We make assumptions and based on the assumptions.
Okay, well, where's the evidence? I reject this assumption.
No, it's a mathematical proof. I told you, we can prove mathematically.
Okay, so it doesn't correspond to the real world.
Correct. That's the definition of mathematics.
Okay, so it's redundant to me. I don't care about mathematical proofs in the abstract.
Okay, then you can see that at least we prove mathematically that in the long term, democracies perform better than non-democracies. Yes or no?
No, I don't. I just don't, because
wait.
Based on your
then you need to show me where my proof is wrong. You have to concede.
People are rational.
Well, we assume
people vote in their best interests.
Yes, we assume that.
But you're ignoring. But your definition of rationality includes emotions, right?
Yeah.
So emotions can cloud people's judgments. So people can vote against their interests, unless you're saying, well,
no.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
I said no. Emotions are part of rationality. If you say emotions,
that's what I'm saying.
No, you said emotions cloud. No, emotions are rational.
Bro, this is such a circular look. This is such a circular look.
No,
because for you, if someone thinks,
no, you said cloud. No, I deny cloud. That's
okay. You deny it, but that's what I'm saying. Then your definition then is completely circular. The way you approach.
Oh, what do you mean?
Well, I can explain if you keep come here. Look.
No, you
for
said
you,
cloud.
Right?
I no, emotions don't cloud. Emotions.
Fine. I retract that statement. I retract that. I retract that statement. No problem. But nonetheless, it's still a circular. It's still circular reason because for you, right? No matter what choice individuals choose, right? It will always, right? It will always be net beneficial. It will always, accrue net utility, right?
It's just a
irrespective of the actual harm, irrespective of the actual, let's say,
There's
physical
no
harm.
actual. That's
or
a
mental
violation
harm.
of when you say actual, that's a violation of the rationality assumption. There is no actual. It's all subjective.
Lord have mercy. So if I punch you in the face, you're not actually getting punched. Like if I actually break your nose isn't
No,
actually broken.
no. I don't like it when people give such nasty examples.
Well,
So
because
you can say when you drop. The question is, if you drop a hammer, does the hammer actually drop? So the answer is we don't know because unless
oh my god, this is like
wait,
okay. So you're gonna like
you're not gonna let me finish.
play these word games, man.
So you're not gonna let me finish.
No, I'm not.
Oh,
I don't think there's a point in letting you finish, bro.
really? Okay. Then you can see the debate. If you don't let me talk, then that's it.
Well, it's not no because it's not in
finish.
my rational interest to let you talk. It's not in my rational interest.
Cor-
So if I let you talk, my utility is actually declining every time.
then that's irrelevant. I'm asking if you don't let
Yeah, but you're curtailing my utility. Why is my utility being curtailed irrelevant to you?
that's irrelevant to the debate.
No, it's completely irrelevant.
No. How?
You're curtailing my utility. Like I don't
Look,
like this.
Fine. It's up to you. If you don't want to continue talking, it's up to you. But look, we're here.
I really want. I don't. Yeah, I don't want to.
Okay. All right, you can leave anytime you want, but I'll continue talking.
I don't want to leave. It's just
Don't
this
leave.
is my
It's
like
fine.
it's my right.
Can I? So you're not gonna let me finish a sentence now?
Well, based on your logic, I mean, there's no issue with this, right? Like, this is not actually happening,
What do you?
correct?
Look, you didn't let me finish. You don't let me talk. I don't know how to continue the conversation. So I don't know what to do at this point. You're asking questions, and every time I start talking, you cut me off. So I don't know what I don't want.
Because you're not making sense. This is the problem. Like,
If
you're
you
just not
don't let
making sense.
if you don't let me finish sentences, then I agree. Maybe you're right. I cannot make sense with half sentences. If every time I make half a sentence, you take that half and you say, "Oh, that half sentence makes no sense," I might agree with you that half sentences.
Well, you also been cutting me off. That's the problem. You've also been cutting me off. So you're just seeing me cutting you off, but you're not understanding. I'm also like me cutting you off is a response to you cutting me off.
Look,
So it's like
I'm
it goes both ways, right? Unless you want preferential treatment, but that's not going to happen.
Look, you have to decide. We can decide to be nice to each other and continue the conversation, or you can decide whatever you want and not continue the conversation. But if you forbid the conversation, if you forbid me from continuing the conversation, then you're basically conceding the argument. You don't get.
I'm not conceding anything. I just said it's circular. Like your argument is entirely circular.
If you don't let me defend my position, you keep cutting me off and interrupting and telling me, weird things that have nothing to do. Look,
Broski, yeah, me, yeah, you. It's me, right? Yeah, it's totally me. It's not you in terms of if I drop the hammer, is it actually drop?
Kamul.
In actuality, what is that, bro? What are you talking about?
Kamul.
Come on.
Look, what is the purpose of a debate? The purpose is for you to try and change my mind. Maybe I'm wrong. I'd love to know that I'm wrong. I always appreciate.
You are wrong.
Fine.
You're wrong on all levels.
But just telling me that I'm wrong without letting me explain to you why I think I'm right, and for you to showing me that I'm wrong, and you need the purpose of a debate.
Well, I gave you an example. I told you if I punch you, if I punch you in the face,
no.
Objectively, this is damaging you.
No, stop.
This is physically damaging
you.
You.
The hammer. No, drop a hammer.
Why not? Why are you scared of this example? What does it
like,
matter? Okay, if I drop a hammer.
No, but you didn't let me answer. So we're still. You asked this already, and you didn't let me answer. So let me tell you what I think the purpose of a debate is. Hello, Mr. Mo.
There is a naked woman in your picture, my friend.
So, what is the purpose? What's the
Yeah.
purpose of a debate? The purpose of a debate is for you to actually change my mind, and for me to try and actually change your mind. Just telling each other you're an idiot, that usually does not change the mind. In order to change the mind, that's hard work. It's not easy. and I'd love to change my mind. I'd love to change your mind, but it's not.
Bro, this is the problem. This is why I cut you off, because
Go
you're
ahead.
so jarring. Like you speak like, bro, just get to the point. What is all these monologues, bro? Look,
So-
point, evidence, explanation.
So no, the point is, you need to actually change.
So
my
what is your
mind.
point with the hammer? Quick, just cut to the chase. Like, what is like, bro, I need to turn you like ×2, bro. I wish I
So-
could do that.
Yeah, that's yeah. So the thing with the hammer is that we don't know what we don't have access to objective reality, unfortunately, because I experience this universe. Period. I experience it's subjective. It's just my subjective experience. It's from between my ears that I see this universe. It's a subjective experience. What the actual universe is, unfortunately, I have no access to. I'm trapped between my ears, and I can only report what I see from this location. I don't know anything about what you call actual, unless we define actual as my personal experience, but that's not what you mean. So,
Well,
So-
I mean something,
mhm,
something,
mhm.
like in this case, it
Mhm.
is objectively, physically harming you.
As I said, it's always subjective because it's always your personal opinion.
What do you mean it's subjective? It's not. It's not
Always-
subjective. If I punch you in the face and break your nose, that is objective.
Stop saying that. You can drop.
Why am I stopping?
No, that's not nice. Be nice. Don't talk this way. So we can talk about a hammer falling, breaking the floor, or whatever. So
It
it's
doesn't.
your.
Yeah, exactly. It's happened. What are you talking about? Like
You
this
don't.
weird, like
all you
epistemic
know,
argument
all-
you make.
You believe it happened. You saw it happening. It's your opinion that it happened. Yes, that's called subjective opinion. It's your absolute subjective opinion that so and so. Yeah, it's your personal subjective opinion. You can never escape this jail, this philosophical jail. This universe exists only in your subjective experience. You don't know anything outside
Oh
your
my God.
subjective
What does this
experience.
have to do with the point?
No, you said actual, so I need to explain that what you mean by actual is very limited. But
But I'm not. Okay, we're not talking epistemically here, man. Why are you going to like epistemology?
said-
This is
no,
like the
you-
dumbest thing ever.
no, because you said taking drugs. Because we're talking about
Yeah, taking drugs. Yes, exactly. Yes, it
No,
will
you-
have
we were talking
actual
about some-
medical
we-
effects on your body.
we were right, but there's no actual. I mean, the question is, what is
Lord
my
unless.
preference? If I prefer to take drugs and die, that's my preference. You cannot. That's what I prefer. If I prefer to
Okay,
die,
so that's a redundant.
what do you
Okay,
mean?
so what are you
What do you mean?
disputing? That's what I mean. I'm saying it's actually harming you. You're saying, well, if I prefer to, get harmed, well, that's my preference. Okay, what? But that's
No,
what I'm
but-
saying.
no, but
your
for
thing,
example-
your reasoning is circular
No,
because no matter what, right?
no.
No matter what, right? Everything is essentially, it accrues net utility. It's just based on my preference.
Look, you said, like, if I take drugs, you might consider that I'm harming myself and that's not good for me. It's a net negative. But that's not up to you to decide. It's up to me to decide. So I value taking drugs and getting high more than I value the health.
Ex-
my
except-
health.
Except it affects society. So actually, it's up to me. Because you taking drugs
Yes,
and then you ending up in hospital is going to affect society. It's going to be
Yes.
a cost on society.
yes.
It's going to be a real
And-
resource cost on society.
Yes.
It's going to require people laboring to,
Yes.
let's say,
Yes.
nurses, doctors.
Yes.
So it does matter. It does affect me.
Yes.
And
but
I'm
not-
saying I don't value that.
I understand, but I do. So everything you
Okay,
said.
well,
me
your
talk.
utility
Let me
doesn't
say-
out like it. It
You
doesn't.
gotta let me talk just a little bit. So everything you said has nothing to do with our discussion. So it's relative, but so my preference is to take drugs. I value drugs over my health. You value your benefit, and for you, it's bad for me to take drugs. There's no contradiction. I value.
No, the contradiction is society. Society. Most
No contradiction.
societies.
There's no contradiction.
There is a contradiction because society has to take care of you,
But that's you.
and they don't value that. They don't.
It's in your mind. So that's why it's important. It's in your mind. You value society. I don't value. I don't care that society exists. I want.
But why are you justifying democracy? What the fuck are you talking about?
No, that's just rationality.
What do you think democracy is? Democracy is a collective, people
Yeah.
coming together collectively
Yeah.
to vote in their interest, in their collective interest.
Yes.
Right. And so obviously the party that, the majority, they prevail over the minority, right? And then
Yeah.
they can enact X, Y, Z.
Yeah. Yeah, but in
Right?
the long
So that's how it works.
look, in the long run, people. I mean, we know that we know in general people prefer in general what's good for them in general, and that's why I said in the short term you might get different results, but in the very long term we can mathematically with high precision predict that the more democratic a system is, the better it will perform.
Okay, but you're rejecting that system to begin with. You're saying you have no right to dictate over the lives of others, essentially, in terms of what is good or bad for them.
Of course,
But democracy would do that by definition.
Yeah, of course I do. I mean, that's a democracy. Yeah, majority of the rule by majority. It's fine. It doesn't contradict my proof. My proof still stands.
Well, I mean, it kind of does.
Look, let's assume that statistically speaking, right? Statistically speaking, most people prefer their health over drugs, prefer that society is stable over drugs. Like most people are normal people. We can assume it mathematically in order to constrain the proof. So assuming people are, in general good citizens, like all we need is over 50% of the citizens to prefer a normal life over a drug addict. So if we assume,
but for you that doesn't. But even that distinction doesn't make sense for you, because good is simply what society determines, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Right. So even that is like even the way you've just categorized that,
Mm-hmm.
that doesn't make sense. Since taking drugs, so that can also be normal and good, right? It just depends on society.
So I'm
what they
saying.
determine.
I said let me talk.
Okay.
Let me talk. So I said we can constrain the proof and assume that over 50% of the population prefers a normal life over being a drug addict. I said let's constrain the proof and let's assume it.
But why are you assuming that? It's and like you're assuming that. Wait, one second. You're contradicting yourself, because you made the assertion people in general, right, are rational, right? So the 51%, right?
No, there's nothing to do.
No. It does, because you're saying you're saying what the 51% oppose by default is fundamentally not good, I suppose, right? It has net negative utility.
Look, I don't know what is net negative utility and not good. Every person decides for themselves what is good and bad for them. Now, I said in order for you to go along with the proof, we could constrain it and we could define or we could assume 51% of the population are normal and don't enjoy drugs more than having a good society.
Okay.
And then you would have to agree that the proof stands. That in the more democratic a system is, the more it will reflect this quote good, and you will get a better society, rather than a less democratic system that is less self-correcting, is less transparent, and is more susceptible to a dictator. So a single dictator can completely destroy the world compared to a more democratic system.
No, I mean I don't see it in that way.
The less democratic a system is, the less self-correcting it is, the less it will comply with the will.
Wait, why would it be self-correcting?
Well, because
this is the issue.
If we allow transparency and we allow people to express themselves, and people will, assuming rationality, people will see the faults in the government. People will say, "Oh, the government did this mistake and that mistake." The government will be able to either fix it, or the people will vote in a different government. So it's a self-correcting system. So a more democratic.
Okay, well, what if? Okay, but yours okay. I mean, your assumption, right, implies people, right? They're rational in the sense, right? They're able to distinguish what is good or bad for them to begin with.
That's the assumption. That's the
That's
rationality.
well, I
assumption.
reject that assumption. You need to establish that.
No,
assumption.
we just said if we assume.
And then, of course,
No.
you're making the assumption.
No,
No,
hold
no,
on,
we
hold
didn't.
on. Wait, hold on. We said if we assume.
Are you cutting me off now? See, remember, you're cutting me off.
No,
So
but
this is
what's the point of you saying something that I disagree with and then you going on and on? What's the point? I would want you to cut me off if I didn't understand you, and I'll go based on a misunderstanding and continue talking. Please stop me if I ever do that. There's no point in that. We said if we assume rationality, then the conclusion is, and we made a bunch of other assumptions also, but the conclusion is the more democratic a system is, the better it performs.
okay. Well, I reject. Okay, first and foremost, I reject that assumption.
I didn't ask you to assume it. I said if we assume it. If we assume it, then the conclusion is, as I said, if we assume it. I'm not assuming it either. It doesn't matter if we assume it or not. If we assume it.
Okay, are we assuming these actors, these rational actors, have a complete understanding of the model of the society and economics and the
No.
economy?
No, they don't need to. They just need.
Right. So then, even based on your assumption, it doesn't follow, because people can vote against their best interests, against what they deem to be their best
And they
interest.
do it all the time.
That's
Well,
that's also the thing, right?
So
Your argument that, well, if you have more democracy and more transparency, this will lead to the net outcome being
Oh, wait a
positive.
minute. No, that's interesting though, because we have, at least in my country, we have transparency for shit. So transparency might fix the situation.
I mean, maybe, but
wait, Nee, what is your country?
it depends
Like,
on what sense. This is the issue, though. It depends on what sense. I mean, he's just saying if the system
Well,
was more transparent.
with more transparency, we would have more enlightenment on the situation. But like our government, at least, feeds both sides a bunch of false shit. So that's like the opposite of transparency, right?
Yeah. So the proof says that if that the more democratic a political government system is, the better it will perform. So under democratic, I define or I assume transparency. The more transparent, the more we can express ourselves against the government, the less the government can suppress us. So you can imagine a perfect.
I used to think that straight democracy was the way to go, and then at some point I understood that if you let people have a straight democracy, everybody would just vote to give everyone $1 million, right? Like, there's some things that have to be set up in a republic. There's some things that can't be controlled by the people.
No, he's in his view, it's that's good.
No, if incredibly enough, if everyone votes for everyone to get $1 million,
then money will be useless the next day.
That's not true. You're just gonna have inflation, and inflation actually has no impact on the economy, especially not if it's predicted.
Sure as the fuck is that impact on our economy?
No,
Bro, you're
inflation.
talking out your behind, man.
We could discuss
Took
it.
a
We can prove that inflation cannot have impact on the economy.
Is this another mathematical proof?
Yeah, we could prove it mathematically. Sure,
Oh
it's
no.
easy.
Oh god.
So if you
Go on. How are you gonna prove it?
So if let's say the people each have $1, and the next day we double what each person has, so now they have $2, and we change nothing in the economy. So what's going to happen is all the prices will be adjusted to reflect the rise in inflation, but nothing will change. Nothing in reality will change. Not
The
a single-
Wait,
problem
why
with
would it
that
all be adjusted? Wait, one sec. Why would it all be adjusted? Like, and nothing will be like no real variables will be affected.
We're assuming a free market, in a free market, in a perfect, right? We're assuming perfect free market.
Wait, why are we assuming these assumptions?
No, if
This
you
is the
don't-
problem. You bring up these like you go. I can prove this mathematically, and you bring up like these unrealistic right scenarios, these unrealistic hypotheticals to say, well, it works in this unrealistic hypothetical. It's like, okay, bro, but this we're talking about the real world.
Yeah, in the
We're
real
talking
world,
about the real world. This is the issue I had in the previous discussion,
in the real
the previous
world,
topic.
in the real world.
Yeah, we were interested in the real world.
Let me
Unless
go.
you're interested in like your
Let me-
Narnia
So-
land, right? That's fine.
I have some things
Wait,
that I believe in
wait, Nee.
that people say is from
Wait,
Narnia
Nee.
land. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry, just that I mean it's one at a time. And he said something against my argument. Let me just reply. Also,
Yeah,
we're
get it, go get it.
We're
Go
also
on, destroy me. Go
we're
ahead.
also streaming this on YouTube, so you should know this is live on YouTube. Anyway, and recorded. Anyway, so
Is this why you're trying so hard?
yeah, I'm
Okay.
invested in my content, of course.
You're
Look-
invested to destroy me, even though I like.
I'm not interested in destroying you. That's not even a bonus. The ultimate bonus is for you to come to my side. So I need to be nice.
What if I told you this unlikely?
Yeah, it's unlikely to change a person's mind on the fly. There's many reasons, but it could happen. Just like, especially especially if I'm nice. That's why I try to always be as nice as possible. Not nicer than I can, but as nice as possible. I don't want to make it personal. I don't want you to. I don't want you to come out feeling like I hurt your feelings. I want you to come out neutral, with your feelings at neutral. That's why I said it's important for me to have like neutral emotions during a discussion. I don't want to make you feel bad if you win or lose.
Okay, I mean you're not making me feel bad. Just let's go back to the topic. Yeah.
So in normal Western economies, everyone can adjust the prices from one day to the next. So as
What do you mean
long as
everyone?
everyone can adjust the prices. Like you go
How
to
can a household adjust their wage?
excuse me.
Well, households can adjust their wages, yeah.
Look, everyone can adjust the prices of their products all the time.
Okay, so you're talking specifically about firms.
No, everyone. What do you mean?
What?
Everyone who cannot change the price of their product? Tell me who
Households? They don't have control over
what
that
product
directly.
What product? Who cannot change
Any product. Households.
Who cannot change the price of their product? The product they produce.
Okay, so yeah, talking about firms. Yeah, that's why I said firms, and you said
What do you mean?
not only firms. I don't like
Not only firms. If I work for somebody and
businesses. companies.
but
Yes.
but if I work for you and I charge you X amount per hour, the next day, since there is double inflation per day, I can tell you, well, today I'm charging you double than yesterday. Who's stopping me?
Okay, well, again, the assumption is there's double inflation, but in any case, who's stopping you in this context would be other actors, right? Other market actors. So your ability to actually price make, so to speak. So let's say, okay, it's going to depend on the market structure. If you're operating in a quote unquote perfectly competitive market, which is unrealistic, you would have no ability over the price. You have no control over the price. You would be a price taker.
Look, so I made the assumption in a perfect free market, and then you said it's completely unrealistic.
Okay,
Right. So
no
you said,
problem. Okay, fine. Look, we can use realistic. We can use more realistic assumption. It doesn't help you, right? In a market where there's imperfect competition. Sorry. So you have, I don't know, a market structure where you have product differentiation, as an example, right? Now that's going to depend. It's going to depend whether other individuals, other sellers, right, hold the same exact product as I do, in the sense of I don't mean like, let's say, I don't know. What's an example? I don't know, wheat as an example. It might be the quality of wheat, right? The type of wheat, the quality of wheat, right? If other sellers don't hold that, right? Yes, I will have price making abilities. I can set the price, right?
Let's make it.
But it's going to be to a degree.
Quality of
but it's gonna
weed?
Let's
Did you say
Wheat,
quality
wheat,
of
wheat,
weed?
wheat.
Like
wheat.
smoking?
let's
No,
let's,
wheat.
Let's
Oh,
let's
I don't-
separate the variables. We want to talk about purely just inflation.
But can you respond to? Yeah, okay. But you can't talk about purely just inflation without talking about the real
I'm
economy.
trying to. I'd like to talk. Let's run a thought experiment just with inflation, nothing else. So let's say
Yeah, but you can't do that.
let's run a thought experiment. No one is stopping us from running a thought experiment.
Yeah, but your thought experiment would be incomplete if you're not accounting for the real economy.
Fine. First, we'll run a thought experiment, and then we'll adjust.
Okay, I'm not going to address that.
You're not.
You mean like how we adjusted it last time, which is not to say not at all.
Well,
But okay, go ahead. I mean, this conversation is it's not going anywhere
why not?
because we're going around in circles.
What's the circle? Where's the circle?
The circles we're not advancing anyway. We didn't advance in the previous topic. We didn't agree at all. This topic, I mean,
Well-
again, it's the same issue. You're making unrealistic assumptions. When I challenge you on these unrealistic, on making these unrealistic assumptions, you result, well, it's just an assumption. It's just a hypothetical. It's like, yeah, I understand that, but like,
So you
then what is the relevance of this hypothetical?
so you agree. So you agree, as far as the hypotheticals are concerned, right?
Yeah, they don't. Yeah, but I don't agree they apply to the real world. It's
Right,
it's
but
like
we
it's like okay.
set out to prove mathematically. Right? We
I
wanted
don't
to
really know what
prove-
that means here, but okay, you're just saying based on a series, a
Wait,
set of
that's-
assumptions, this will
Yeah, that's-
follow.
that's mathematics. Mathematics. When you learn
Okay,
mathematics.
but that's irrelevant.
1 second. So I said I'm going to prove mathematically. You were listening to my mathematical proof. You could have told me, no, I'm not interested in a mathematical proof. You could, but you didn't say I'm not interested in a mathematical proof. The nature of a
Yeah. But look, even your proof, it still has it still has a serious set of unrealistic assumptions. This is the question. That is the issue.
we can look. We can discuss the assumption.
And that's what I tried to do, but then you just swat that down. You just said no.
You gotta let me say something. So we could discuss the realism of the assumption, but in order for it to be a mathematical discussion, we can make assumptions to build we make in mathematics we make assumptions. Based on the assumptions, we conclude. That's a mathematical discussion. It's based on pure assumptions. It's based on.
Yeah, but we're not talking about pure assumptions.
But that's mathematics. That's mathematics.
But this is not pure mathematics, is it?
But I offered a mathematical proof.
Okay, well, it doesn't correspond to the real world. Even contained within your
First of all,
assumptions.
it doesn't have to. A mathematical proof does not have to correspond, and you that's fine that you claim. Well, but you first have to agree that.
Bro,
Wait. You first have to agree the proof follows from the assumptions. You could say, well, I agree the proof that the conclusion follows from the
I
assumptions.
contested that. I gave you an
You have
example.
to decide.
Right?
We have to
Transparency. Look,
do you agree? 1 second. I need to understand. Do you agree that the mathematical proof is correct? Yes or no?
no, I don't.
Well, wait, just the mathematics, meaning if we assume rationality and the rest of the assumptions, then we get better performance of better democracies. You agree with that or not?
No, I don't.
Okay, so that's good. So we don't need to discuss the world. We just need to discuss why you think that from the assumptions we don't get the conclusion from rationality.
I told you.
Yes.
Because from rationality, you have the issue where actors don't have their full faculties. They don't have full knowledge of how the system works and operates and benefits their interests. Therefore, more transparency doesn't follow in the context of democracy in producing a better outcome in terms of their utility.
Yeah, I have no idea what you just said.
Okay, so well then that's the issue of you. That's a you problem. Okay. Look, you're making the assumption if actors are fully rational, right?
Okay. What do you mean I'm making?
They
No. If we assume, I'm not making
Lord,
any
what is
assumption.
wrong? Are you like autistic, bro? Are you autistic?
Yeah, go on. If we assume, just
Are you autistic? Yes, bro. Are you autistic? Bro, you know what I mean?
Stop,
Like, come on,
stop,
shut the hell up.
stop attacking me.
Look, no,
personally.
no,
Stop.
no. You stop. You stop.
Stop what?
Stop, please, stop.
Stop what?
I don't know. You're telling me to stop. I'm telling you to stop.
Well, you joined.
Look.
You
I
joined.
explained it. I explained it to you. Yeah, you're getting hung up on words, right? And this is what you're doing, right? It's like a typical debate tactic, right? I'm explaining to you the issue of your assumptions, how they don't follow, right? Then you appeal to like what semantics? Like, come on, bro.
The assumptions.
So okay, okay, yes. Like, is this the best you got, basically?
Go
Because
on.
you know I've trapped you. Like, it's the problem. You know, look,
Yeah.
this assumption, right,
Yes.
doesn't imply that human beings, actors, right, have full knowledge of how the system works, right?
Correct.
How the actual model of the economy or the political system works, right?
Correct.
And so these actors are not able to ascertain how their best interests can be manifested via utilizing the economy and the political system. Therefore, more transparency in a democracy doesn't entail people's, good basically prevailing in terms of people's preferences, subjective preferences.
Look, that's a good point. You're making a good point. The question is, if each individual doesn't understand the system, will the system still perform as advertised? So I think it will.
No.
No.
Wait, well, based on
Because I vote for my benefit. Everyone votes for what they perceive is their personal benefit. Part of my personal benefit is the stability of society. Not
that doesn't answer. That doesn't address the problem at hand. But okay, I mean,
what?
I don't think you're going to address it.
What?
Well, the problem at hand is a knowledge problem. It's an information problem.
I
There's a
vote.
lack of there's incomplete information regarding the model of the system.
What do you mean? Okay, as a voter, I don't need complete information. I just need to know that I'm voting for what's good for me. Why do I need?
Yeah, but you don't know that. You don't know unless you don't know the actual like model of the economy.
I don't need to know. What do you mean? I don't understand. What do you want me to know?
If you think, look, I'll give you an example. If you think, right, government spend, like, let's say you want the economy to grow, right? You want GDP to increase, right? As an assumption, right? We're making assumptions here. And you think government spending doesn't do that it doesn't help you, right? It actually curtails your utility. It does, it results in bad outcomes. So it doesn't help in GDP growth, right? But this is objectively, empirically, this is wrong, right? And we know government spending does increase GDP, right? This will be an information problem. You have incomplete information about how the system works.
But that's the beauty of a transparent democracy, that you'll hear the opinions of everyone. And I could hear, and you'd be able to speak out and say, the politicians are lying. Right? I'd be able to hear you, and
how would you differentiate? How would you differentiate if you have incomplete information?
Well,
because people already do that in the current system. You think in America there aren't economists who speak out against particular economic policies or political policies or foreign policy decisions made by the state? No, of course, many do. And they are given platforms on even mainstream media outlets. But the people can't, the average person can't differentiate because they don't have a complete understanding of how the system works. And obviously, unless they go personally and study the system on their own, which is just impractical for the average person, they're not going to have that knowledge ever.
Yeah, I agree that your question is good, and your claim, I can see the logic in your claim, and we see it in reality. But so what I'm saying is, imagine two systems. Imagine two similar democracies, but one is just a little bit more democratic. So the more democratic one just allows you to speak and make this claim. And in the other one, you were not able to speak and make this claim. It's very wise observation. So I would say that in the long run, the system that allowed you to speak and just raise the issue, I don't even know if you're correct or not, but just raise the issue. So, maybe, I don't know, maybe because of that, well, because we don't know who's right and who's wrong. You might be right or wrong. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. But if we come,
Okay, so you're saying that system is better based on a coin cost. I don't like because one additional person is allowed to speak. As opposed to dictatorship.
as opposed to let's take now the extreme case, a dictatorship, like a ruthless North.
Okay, well, it doesn't matter. Less democratic dictatorship, fine.
No, but I tried comparing to something less, and you're saying it's a coin toss, and I agree. It's not a good proof.
But that's what I'm saying. It will still be a coin toss, even in regards to dictatorship versus quote unquote transparent democracy.
A dictatorship, that's you're betting the whole farm. You're betting everything on the whim of a dictator. So,
as opposed to the whim of a collective, which again is not well informed.
The collective it's more distributed.
Okay, how does that help your case?
Wait. So in the collective, the blame is just more shared.
No, I'm not talking about. I don't care about
that's.
The blame. No,
that's not. How's that any better, man?
Bro, honestly, I don't.
They both suck either way. Like what?
No. I'm not.
Everyone's losing here.
No, I didn't. I don't care about blame. We're trying to mathematically see if the more democratic a system is, the better it performs. So the question is, right? So the more
I think most people can agree, like it's a healthy mix.
Sev Q8, you spoke. Let me reply.
Yeah.
1 second. So
yeah, sure. Go ahead. Sorry.
Thank you. So I think we can agree that the more democratic a system is, the more coin tosses you get. It's like everybody tosses their coin. So on average, you're getting 50% right, 50% wrong. So you're going to say, yeah, I mean, theoretically, that's true. So we can add some assumptions to stabilize, to just tilt it just to the 50.01%. We could try and tilt it. We can make some assumptions, and maybe they are realistic, maybe they're not. But with a perfect dictatorship, if the dictator flips the coin to the wrong choice, he could completely annihilate the planet, humanity.
Wait, what? What are you talking? Bro, it's the same. Look, the same applies to the democracy.
Yes, I agree.
What are you talking?
Yes, I agree. Okay, now no. 1 second. So we need to go back to we can fix the democracy. Yeah, I mean, it could be that you're right. In the long run, we're in trouble. Either way, we're screwed. It could be that on average, statistically speaking, in the long run, it doesn't help. Democracy does not help. It could be.
Yeah, I know. Like empirically, it doesn't help. That's what I'm saying.
No,
you don't want to go to like the real world. You want to go to this hypothetical.
Even just mathematically. I don't like ignoring.
Again, no. Real world. Why are you like scared of the real world?
The real world is too difficult to analyze. Like mathematics is complicated enough.
Okay, so what are your assumptions based? I don't understand, like.
If we no, so I'm saying I agree with you. My proof might be invalid that a democracy does not produce better results. That in the long run there's no difference. That both could destroy the universe.
No, but even your assumptions, what are they based on? They're based on the real world, correct?
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying. So, like, you have to go to the real world.
yeah, but
to
the assumptions are I'm building a simplified model of the real world. So I'm like I have
right, which doesn't correspond to reality.
Yeah.
And then you're.
reality. Yeah, right.
But what is the point of a model?
To simplify.
Whether it's mathematical or not, the point of a model, right? No, in the case of policy making, is for it to be utilized, right?
Yeah.
But right. And so we want a model that is realistic in its assumptions. Not just, it produces results, because an unrealistic model of unrealistic assumptions can quote unquote produce results, maybe even 9 out of 10 times. But
Yeah.
that,
I'm
that one time where it goes wrong, it can go majorly wrong. And we have numerous empirical real world historic examples of this.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not disagreeing with anything you're saying. I'm just saying I like building mathematical models and scientific models. These end up being difficult enough to deal with compared to the real world, where it's even by far more difficult to analyze. I mean, whatever you see in the real world, like you're saying, well, we can see. I don't know what you see. I don't like. We would. It's like, who knows what we see? I mean, what we see is through scientists and through the mainstream media and through television. I don't know what we see. So the real world, it's difficult to see. It's very cloudy. And the mathematical model, that's my only chance to imagine.
Okay, let's move. I'll skip. I'll accept your model for the sake of argument. I think it's
I
redundant.
agree.
Now,
I agree. I don't have an answer. I think we're screwed either way. I agree with you. So there
so
might.
what even was the point of this? What was this? It's like for debate purposes, like going through this model.
What do
Why
you
did you go through this model?
You succeeded in changing my mind. That's the goal. My goal.
So this is simply to go over this debate to change your mind. Like, no, we're not trying to ascertain the truth or anything.
That. What's that's the.
My goal was
I
to
mean-
change your mind.
I mean, fair enough. Fair enough.
Bro, no, bro, Sev, you don't understand, bro. You don't understand.
How long has this been going on?
It's a long time, man. You don't
Okay. Khalas, then you know what? May I suggest that you both take a break as to not strain yourselves?
No, Sev Q8. Please stop. Anyway, so the question.
What?
is,
Bro, what? He's trying
What?
to help. He's trying to. Oh my
question
god.
is, what can we modify in
Does he not realize you're losing it?
Sev Q
I don't know, man.
Sev QB? We're having a very nice debate. Please stop. You can interject.
Are you trolling, Mr. Slave?
I don't think he's trying. I think he's just not
Yeah,
realizing what's going on. It's fine. Continue. Go ahead.
I am enjoying the conversation. Sev Q8 is these
I'm
days.
not. I'm being distressed. My utility is being curtailed here.
Right. I'll inform you what you may have not realized, Mr. Slave. Kamal has kind of reached kind of like the I can't do this anymore. I don't want to. I know this because I've known him for a while. So I'm suggesting take a break from your conversation since you've come to some sort of agreement on something at least.
He
right?
can, if
Take
he
a
wants
break,
to take a break and
5,
leave, it's fine.
then-
If he wants me to leave
Yeah.
and ask me to leave,
You don't have to leave. Just like take a break from the conversation.
I'm
Just
not-
chill, relax for a bit. You know what I
I'm
mean?
not interested.
Yeah, I will take a break for now. I'll still be in the VC, but
That's fine. I mean, anybody can continue the conversation. The conversation is very. I mean, we got to an interesting point that it's not clear that a democracy produces better results compared to a dictatorship. The question is, I mean, we know North Korea. North Korea is like the ultimate dictatorship, and no one wants to live in North Korea. So my intuition is that a pure dictatorship performs worse. So, but I don't know if if a democracy on average would give different results. Anyway, Islamway, are you still here?
Yeah, well, I wasn't listening.
You were listening? So what's your opinion?
I
What's your
was
opinion?
I wasn't listening.
Oh, you weren't listening? Anyway, so let's move to concluding remarks. So is the West collapsing? That's the question we're asking. Is the West collapsing? And the answer is we don't know. I think it's we don't know because the West currently is just more democratic, but we don't know if a democracy in the long term gives better results than a dictatorship. So the East.
No, it leads to inevitable collapse. The democracy always leads to inevitable collapse.
Why do you say that?
Ya Rabbi, Ya
Why? Because the average is always going to be ignorant, so the elected will always gonna be concept.
Yeah, but whatever you say about, oh, you're not listening? I'll just say it. So whatever you say about the average citizen, you could say about the average dictator. So you have to take into account once in a while you're going to get a terrible dictator. Like on average, you might get above average, or that's not possible, but sometimes you'll get above average, sometimes you'll get below average, and sometimes you'll get a terrible dictator who could destroy the world. And so I don't see the difference. I don't know if there is a difference. Anyway, so Islamway has muted his speakers as well, and Kamul is tired, and Sev Q8. Do you want to say something, Sev Q8? If not,
I am uninterested. I am uninterested in the topic.
got it. That's
Sorry, I just don't care about it.
yeah. At this point, I'm ambivalent about it. In the beginning, I was gung ho to defend the West, but now I don't know if there is. There might be just the momentary advantage that the West happens to be democratic and very successful, but it could be that in the long run there's no difference.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Are you Israeli?
Don't discuss my anything personal about me.
Okay, you're Israeli.
Wait, where's that question coming from?
It's
Well,
not,
is the
not
question
necessarily. Not necessarily. I don't think so. I don't think
His
he
accent is
but-
Israeli, man.
No, he's not. It's not.
Bro, 90%. I'm
No,
right
no.
about these things.
He's definitely
Right.
Really?
He's definitely from a Western country, but you know,
Nah,
whatever.
nah. Well,
Venom,
Israel
can
is,
you come to the
Western country.
Slums channel?
Yeah, you want to go there? Sure.
Yeah, let's go.
I mean, you don't want to answer, fine, that's fine, you know.
Yeah, I don't discuss my personal information. Anyway, Kamul, thank you for the discussion. Islamway, thank you. I'm gonna go now. Have a great day.
Take care, man.
You too. Bye.
Adios.
All right.
Bye. Bye. All right. So that was very interesting. I wonder how many people are going to watch this. All right, everyone. That's the end. Bye.